It's a Zoom meeting.
Right. How can I call you? Can I call you Mr. Foley? Is it okay?
It's okay to call me Mr. Foley. That's fine.
Okay. Okay. So, Mr. Foley, as we have planned earlier and as per the messages you received today early morning, we would like to appreciate that if you could walk us through about the industry of medical tourism initially, and then we can discuss about our corporations furthermore.
Yes, casting. So I think I started a brief, but let me go over that again.
Okay.
So let's look at it from this point of view. The world is now a global village, and this also means that individuals have access to global opportunities.
Okay. Okay.
Healthcare is one area where individuals look for opportunities based on a wide variety of factors. And I can mention the cost of healthcare, for instance. A patient might require a service in a particular area. Let's say a patient needs dialysis. If he has problems, but he finds that the cost in his country is a bit exorbitant, but finds that the cost in Singapore is within his budgetary range. And so cost is one thing that the patient might be looking at. And so people look at healthcare from the cost point of view. That's one factor I can mention to you. People look at healthcare services from the point of view of alternatives.
Yes, yes.
So in my personal space, and I live in Ghana, I've lived in Ghana for quite a while. We have a disease called malaria.
Malaria, okay.
Malaria is transmitted by mosquitoes. And quite early in my life, I discovered that the orthodox medication for malaria did not seem to deal with my malaria effectively. So I started applying what we call herbal medication for malaria. And I find that that works for me. In the same vein, we have a lot of individuals who would say that they have been through health systems where orthodox medication was offered, and they didn't quite seem that they were getting the results they expected. So they went for alternative healthcare, for instance, homeopathy. You may have heard about homeopathy.
Yes, yes. Homeopathy, I've heard about it, right?
Homeopathy, others go for acupuncture and a wide range of other services. So you can have individuals looking for alternative medical or medication or medical systems across the globe. And you want to be in a position to be able to connect these individuals to these alternatives. So we talked about.
And it seems quite interesting.
Let's talk about.
Right, you are Mr. Foley. It seems very much interested about the things whatever you are sharing with us. And by the way, do you have any presentations or anything that you can share with us on screen?
Okay. Quite frankly, I decided that we'll do a verbal communication today.
Okay.
I have not put to all of that data. This is to generate a deep interest in what we're doing, and then we can move to the point of view of statistics and do all of that maybe during another presentation.
Sure, sure.
Okay.
Okay then. So
if that is fine.
Okay, then you can continue then.
Okay. We can also look at technological advancement. Okay, gone are the days when, for instance, surgeries were conducted by doctors or surgeons alone. These days, you find that because of the advancement of technology, robots are conducting surgeries with reported higher rates of success. So technological advancement has brought into the fore, for instance, treatment in areas of cancer where you do not necessarily have to use the traditional chemotherapy method, but you can have specific targeted ways of dealing with cancer simply using advanced technology. And there are facilities around the globe that have incorporated these into their medical services, facilities that can offer them a higher rate of success as far as treatment is concerned. Facilities around the globe matter, and there are indeed advanced facilities around the globe. We also have matters related to privacy. There are patients who do not want information about their health conditions going out into the public. And sometimes you have a situation where you visit a hospital in Ghana, and for some strange reason, the confidentiality matters are not adhered to. And the next thing you know is that information about your health conditions are out there in a space that was not intended, or that you did not want that information to get to. So sometimes you have people wanting to fly outside of their jurisdiction or other parts of the world to whether it's a well-being check, whether it's a specific area that they want to deal with. They simply want to do it quietly outside of the shores of their country. So privacy and confidentiality tends to be a huge consideration for a lot of individuals. We can talk about tourism.
One of my main concern when we talk about the medical tourism, Mr. Farley, it's affordability.
Yes.
So what do you think about its affordability?
Quite frankly, in the space in which I am, I have several I have significant amount of information regarding people who have traveled outside of the shores of this country for medical care. One of the areas that comes on top of my mind immediately is what we call knee osteoarthritis. There comes a time in the life of an individual when you are diagnosed with knee osteoarthritis. That means that the cartilage in the knee area is worn and bone begins to rub against bone, and that can be very painful.
Okay. It's a kind of arthritis, right?
Arthritis. And a good number of people have traveled abroad, or in the alternative, you have teams coming to Accra from abroad to perform specialized surgeries for them here. And so that is one of those areas where cost is a factor, but it's not the ultimate determinant. People are looking more at success. Is there a facility somewhere around the globe where if I get my arthritis of the knee, I am more guaranteed of a successful outcome? If there is an area, for instance, in relation to kidney challenges or cancer, these are not areas where people are willing to compromise. They're looking more at a top-notch facility and top-notch professionals who can give them a higher sense of assurance that their cases will be dealt with more effectively. So whereas cost may be a factor in some circumstances, for instance, there are those who simply want what they call a facial upgrade or a head transplant, areas like that, you would find that cost may be a bigger determinant, because you can find it in the UAE, you can find it in several other places. But when it comes to those critical specialist areas, people are willing to pay the price to the extent that they are sure that they will get positive or very positive outcomes. I hope that answers the question about the cost.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes. Yeah. So that is more or less addressed within the domain of specialty. Okay. And these days, quite you can find global health indexes on the internet very easily. And I've discovered that Singapore has a very high index, amongst others, or reasonably high index. So people are looking for which country or which region offers me a certain sense of assurance that my needs to be taken care of effectively. Yeah. And that outweighs the matter of cost. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So Gaston, generally, these are some of the reasons why health tourism is gaining traction. Many more people are taking advantage of these because these are areas that people are looking at.
Okay. Okay. And it seems quite interesting, isn't it?
Yes, health tourism is, and as I said, on our next meeting, we can share with you impact is growing and has been growing over the years. And I think that statistic would confirm to your team and myself why it is important to expand the opportunity to as many people who can benefit from this as possible.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Since we are thinking about the collaborations in between both of our organizations for a very long time, so far, do you have any ideas or any concepts that how we can proceed further into the collaborations?
Okay, so taking it up from yesterday's conversation, and I think you made the point about your industry and its connections or prospective connections with top-notch health facilities in the Asian markets. That's a good start. That's number one. Number two is you will need to establish clear and concise relationships with these hospitals or facility or professionals. We will need to set up a criteria, and there are organizations that rate some of these clinics and hospitals. They are global organizations that rate some of these hospitals and clinics that would suggest to you that this hospital or clinic has a high reputation. That this hospital and clinic has a reputation for this specialty. That this hospital or clinic attracts top-notch specialists for these specific areas. So we'll have to identify hospitals, clinics, healthcare facilities within your Asian markets that we can describe as top-notch. Then we'll need to establish a relationship with those facilities that says that we are happy to recommend your facilities for patients who need specific services. And then in return, they will pay you a commission in terms of a percentage of the cost of treatment, etc.